Hello and welcome to today's episode of Linking In with Louise. I am really excited about today's episode because I've got one of my favourite online business friends joining us today, and that is a lovely lady called Reena Philpot, who is from Kentucky in the US. Reena and I spoke together on stage in California in November 2019 when we were all able to travel and go to conferences and all that wonderful stuff. And we have become firm friends since. So it was a real delight to be able to ask her to come on to the podcast today and talk about her business and her really good sales technique. So Reena, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Louise. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm just really excited about this. I'm going to get really stuck into a lot of stuff. But before we do, Reena, can you tell everybody a little bit about what you do in your sales coaching business and who you work with?
Sure. I work with lots of entrepreneurs, business owners to help them improve their sales or build their sales teams. We work on their strategy. We work on just getting comfortable and competitive with their products and services so they find the best fit. Mm-hmm. So I do all kinds of fun stuff.
So Reena, if we back up a little bit, your background in sales, because you and your husband have your own company, don't you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have an office equipment company that we have owned for almost 18 years.
Wow. Is that where you honed your sales skills?
Somewhat, yes. I got started, 25 years ago, working in another copier dealership for other people, and I just fell in love with it because to me it felt like I was just visiting people instead of selling something. I was just visiting people and finding out what their concerns or needs were, and so then I would just go find what we had to offer that would meet those or help them maybe get more productive or just find a good fit for their office equipment. I loved it. It was just visiting people and meeting people and helping them. So that's really where I got started. And then when we started our own business, it gave me an opportunity to really design a new plan that was different from my competitors. And it was fun to go introduce that. And we were able to save them money. And some people are not as, we have better contracts now. And we offer local service, things like that, and that helped me to build, a lot of different parts of sales. I had to learn a lot of different things.
So how you're different to me is not different to me I don't mean as in you and I are different. I actually think you and I are quite similar in how we approach this angle of business, is that we're not, you see sales as somebody has a need, and by talking to them, you can help them with that need. Would that be right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So as opposed to sales is traditionally seen as a bit of a, I don't know if you agree with this, but traditionally it would be like the young go-getters straight out of college, and they're just going boom, 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 getting all the sales and taking no prisoners in their way. Would you say that would be a fair?
Yes.
Yeah, fair comment. So I, as for my business, I have no training in sales at all. And I have just learned as I went along. And I think that a lot of my customers and clients have come to me because we've met and we've talked and they like the way that I teach. And that's how I've got customers. I haven't done very many cold calls, or in fact, probably very few at all. How do you do cold calls or cold sales, and how do you handle that, Reena?
I do. And those are probably some of my favorite because I'm curious by nature. So to me, I'm learning new stuff when I reach out cold to someone, either in person or on the phone. It's building a new relationship. And so I have all kinds of new questions. And so that is probably, I think, what drives me, the reason I like it so much. That's one of my favorite parts.
That's so funny because to me that is like that would be terrifying.
Well, I get to pick and choose, so I pick safe environments.
So the photocopier business, Office Equipment Supplies, it's a local business, isn't it, in Kentucky?
It is, yes. We serve 33 counties there.
Oh, is Kentucky quite large then?
It is 120 counties, but they're small counties, so it's not that large. It just seems like a lot.
I have this vision of Kentucky in my head, and it's like Kenny Rogers songs and horses. Is it kind of that?
Yes, some parts are like that, and some parts are just mountains and creeks and all that. When you visit, I'll show you all different.
I know, I can't wait. I said to my husband last weekend, do you know, I have friends in Kentucky and we are going one day.
Oh, and I can't wait. I'd love to show you the whole state. It's different from one side to the other.
Oh, I'm sure it's beautiful. So you have a very successful business. What made you decide to go off and start your coaching business on your own?
I had joined some ladies groups, and I had never done that before. So I'd kind of been just solo. In my industry, it was mostly male. So I really didn't have an opportunity to really talk business strategy with, a lot of different ladies. And I joined a mastermind. And when I did that, I kind of saw how people were looking at sales, and I saw that they could just change a couple of viewpoints and really make a difference in how they were approaching it. And then, of course, the revenue they were able to bring in because of it.
Yeah.
And I saw it as a need. Like I always joke that I'll see something somebody has to offer and I'll get really excited about it. And I'll think, oh, I'd love to sell that. Because that's how I feel about sales, that it's kind of the voice for the product or service. Yeah. And I love doing that. So I saw that was missing in some entrepreneurs' business. Or in some cases, they were trying to bring on other people, kind of like you naturally know a good fit for your potential clients. Even though you said you haven't had formal sales training, you've built that up out of, you see people who you can help and you know how to offer that. But if you were going to hire a team, you would have to show them how you felt about your customer and your product and services. And that's where I saw there was a need. And that's how I got started.
Wow. And when you joined this mastermind and you saw the need, and how did you get your first clients then? Did you just reach out to people?
Yes, I was just some of the people who were in the groups I was in, they would maybe mention a certain situation, maybe how they were going to deliver a proposal, or they were negotiating on something, which is also something that I see as a good thing when you have the opportunity to do that. You just have to handle it correctly. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got my first clients. I would just, in the beginning, I was just saying, give this a try. And, I always say, tell me what they said and what did you say? So it's all about how you communicate something. And then it eventually turned into where I was coaching, because I saw a need and it was helping others.
Okay, so I'm naturally my brain's switching over to LinkedIn and LinkedIn content and ideas for things that you would be posting about on LinkedIn. And I think that would be perfect kind of post to put on LinkedIn. Either talking about a scenario where somebody's come to you with a problem and here's how you handled it, and asking your network how would they handle that differently. Or so for me, for LinkedIn, the kind of content that you share is content that provides value to your network, which you're perfect for, Renee, because that's what you do naturally anyway. So just as you're speaking, I'm thinking, oh, that should be one of your posts on LinkedIn. Or like if you're in a mastermind or you're in a group and somebody presents with an issue like that, and you're helping them, I would then use that as my example for my post on LinkedIn. I think that would do really well, and that would get you a brilliant engagement, but also it would really raise your profile over on LinkedIn.
That's good.
Yeah, I'd like to see you doing that. And when you do, you can tag me so I can join in the conversation.
Super. And after I worked with you on LinkedIn, it did help me, because before then I was trying to post something every single day, and it wasn't as meaningful. When I started posting about stories or situations I had been in, I got much better engagement and response to what I was posting. So, and I think it's more quality now that I get back. It's really, and there's even been a couple of times that I have posted just a story or how I was feeling about something, and I've gotten a client following that directly from that story. They've said, Renee, I saw that, and it really spoke to me about the situation I'm in. So that all of that did make a difference. So I will try that suggestion you just made as well.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. It's so different to other social media platforms, I think. And I change, I test and try things all the time anyway online. That's just my nature. But like this week, for example, I've posted several times on LinkedIn this week as we're recording this, and people are commenting on the post that I did last week. So I'm actually, if you're posting every day, you're kind of fighting against yourself for attention in the newsfeed. So as you say, it's better to have maybe a couple of posts a week that are well thought out and give, start your audience, so your network thinking about things and commenting. The other thing is, Renee, do you find on LinkedIn that the people who reach out to you to work with you are not the people who leave comments on your posts?
Yes, usually they don't leave comments.
Yeah.
It can be they didn't leave a comment. Sometimes they didn't even like to, or make any, but they still are looking and taking in what they see. It's just people don't have time to really comment or
I do wonder, are the types of people that we want to work with are potentially too busy to be commenting on LinkedIn all day long? That could be another thing.
I think there's some truth to that. They may glance at it and, they go there for, and I do the same thing myself. I'll go there for inspiration or, and I'm taking in what someone is trying to teach me on there, but I may not comment or, it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it or look at it.
It's actually, it's like, well, we have a phrase here, I don't know if you have, it's like pulling hen's teeth, trying to get someone to comment on your post on LinkedIn.
We usually leave out the hen's part, so we'll say it's like pulling teeth.
I don't even know if hen have teeth. Maybe that's the thing.
That's probably what's the thing. So I may have to add that to my Louise.
Yes, pulling hen's teeth. Oh dear. So now that how long have you had the sales coaching business aspect? Would you think, Renee?
I've just been doing it about a year.
So have you changed the way that you work with people, or what way do people work with you?
So I do one-on-one strategy sessions, and I've been also doing like monthly coaching, which has worked out really well. So it's just shorter sessions. So instead of like 4 weeks of an hour per week, it's like 4 weeks, 30 minutes at a time. And that's really been working out well, because we can make a big impact with just 30 minutes without me overwhelming them with too many things to work on. It gives them one thing to go work on, give me some feedback, then go work on something